Yeah, usually the stories do pretty good.
Yeah, same as when at work, right?
Yeah.
I got a new guy that I'm telling stories to, and he's all over them because they're unusual.
We have all these like this collection of just like ridiculous stories from when we were kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like stupid stuff. I tell people all these stories all the time, and they just either they believe it, but it's like that's ridiculous, or they just think it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, because it's true life stuff, right?
Yeah. And like most people have pretty just like everyday normal, like we lived around with these weird people, right? Mm-hmm. That they always produce some content.
Yeah, you don't realize it when you're at the time, but as you get older, there's people probably develop most of the content you have today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like people will be like, I tell the Storm and Norman story, and the comments are like, oh, I had a Storm and Norman from where I lived.
Yeah, everybody has a Storm and Norman.
Everyone's got their own version of it. So,
anyways, yeah. Are we starting now?
We're going. This is we're just flowing. Yeah. We're just going.
Okay, yeah.
You got to start it off kind of just, you know.
Yeah, just going. Yeah.
And then you go, oh yeah, the camera's on, you know.
So I guess that's where we're at. The cameras are going.
How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Davey on everything, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we got ourselves a special guest. This is actually official episode number 30. So this is a milestone. We've hit 30 episodes of the normal show. This is my dad, Mark.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Dan couldn't make it today. Not unusual for him.
Dan's a busy man.
Dan works 7 days a week, so
in his defense,
he's probably working right now, and then he'll be working.
He's probably working on a hat right now.
Yeah,
engraving someone's name or stitching a name on a hat.
Something. He does all kinds for himself now. Every hat he has like a embroidered patch on it.
That's why he's hard to get him as a guest.
That's right. He's in demand. So, episode number 30. People didn't think we'd make it this far. I didn't know if we were going to make it this far, but here we are. So we're going to kind of just do more of an interview style episode here. Just some questions I want to ask my dad about his life and whatever else. And most of the dumb stories we telling here are like he's either involved or they're his story. So keep that in mind. National Squirrel Day and Storm and Norman. And if you knock the salt shaker over, you better be prepared to pick it up.
True that. Yeah,
People like that comment too. That one that Dean said, right? When Storm and Norman came back.
Mm-hmm.
People thought that line was hilarious.
He wanted me to go to battle with Storm and Norman.
Yeah, that's right. It was a triangle, right?
I know, but it was a whole crowd of people rooting me on to fight Storm and Norman, right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
I thought to myself, I hope it never gets to this point, right? It was a boomerang that started all
the
this.
Boomerang, yep. So if you haven't watched, I don't know what episode, it's an older episode. If you haven't watched that episode, we lived my parents still live there. It's a neighborhood, and it always had these, at some point it wasn't such a desirable area as far as like people moving in. So you get all kinds of characters, and we always had this like Game of Thrones kind of thing going on within all our backyards kind of connect. And we always had this Game of Thrones style of battles happening where everyone was trying, not even us, we were trying to just live our lives.
Yeah, we just were content, just having fun, right? Just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Then you got your people that are your crazy people, right? And then that would be Norman. Which we were okay with Norman. Like, he was okay being crazy.
Yeah, like we didn't even really know the guy.
We didn't really know him until that day of the boomerang.
That's right.
You got to know him that day, I'll tell you.
He was just a dude that lived 4 doors down or something, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had an actual conversation with that guy?
Me, I've never had a conversation. The only conversation I had that day was where we were going to go to battle.
That was the only one, yeah, because he approached us in our own house.
He wanted me to, because he said that my kids were yelling and screaming at him. So he was in the back, which would be a parking lot, playing with his boomerang. I'm thinking, that's kind of unusual for a full-grown man.
I know.
To throw, but you know what? Each does their own thing, right?
Yeah.
So, sure, if that makes him happy. And then it went from there to escalate into actual physical fight over this boomerang and the kids teasing him and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, because all Matt did was he just came, he was scooting around, and he would have been like 12, right?
Yeah, that even sounds like old, but
maybe 10.
10, yeah, pretty
So
young.
Matt was just yelling Ricola from the commercials into the void of the parking lot. It's an empty. The factory was probably closed at that time, right? Or no,
they were
maybe
still
not.
running, but it was on a
was a
weekend,
weekend.
so there were too many people in there on the weekend.
Yeah. So this guy's out there throwing a boomerang and just it doesn't come back to him ever.
No, I know. I think that's only in movies.
I've never seen a real boomerang in action.
I don't think that actually happens.
I'm curious now. I want to know. Like, can you actually make that work?
I don't know. I only see it in movies.
Why keep making them if it doesn't
I
work?
know, and then that's what they advertise, right?
It's big boomerang with a conspiracy, you know?
So anyway, so we got through that, and Norman went about his business, you know. But the neighbors were chanting us on, right? They wanted to see us to go to battle.
Yeah, that's it.
But it never happened.
No.
So I wasn't going to get to that. It wasn't worth it, right?
No. From a guy that we never even spoke to after that again.
I know. He's basically didn't exist to us after
Remember he was climbing up on the back fence?
Mm-hmm.
Like up on his pole? Like he had some kind of thing he could jump up on, and he was looking in, and then he came around.
I know. But so that put all into that whole situation. But it's been interesting living on Summer Avenue for sure. Yeah, it's been interesting and a great spot to live.
Absolutely.
It's where we've been there for 36 years, I think now, 36 or 35. But yeah, I've always, since I moved here in '86, I've lived in that that neighborhood my whole life.
Yeah.
Since '86 to present day. Yeah. Me and my brother came from Alberta. Well, originally we were from Nova Scotia, and then our family were like migrants. So in the fall, our family would go. My forefathers would go to Alberta and harvest grain, and then they come back to their small farms in Falmouth, and then to make extra money. So from generations of people going to Alberta. So when you're just a young boy, your whole thing is that you're going to eventually end up in Alberta and make all kinds of money.
Yeah, so that's what that's what your like mindset was when you were, say, 14?
Oh, even younger. I wanted at a young age, because I was brought up so poor. I didn't have running water till I was 12. So I always wanted to be a plumber just for the fact that I never not have running water.
Right.
Right. So it was like a luxury to me. Right?
That's right. I've told that on here before too. We've talked about it actually.
Yeah. So between that and plumbers always made good money.
Yep.
And I never want to be poor again. So it's the best way to do is education through education.
Yep.
And to go to Alberta. So I used to go to Alberta before I went there during the summer months. I worked at a ranch one year.
With cattle?
Yeah, a cattle ranch, 2,000 head of cattle down in foothills of Alberta.
Yeah.
And that was an experience. They used to call me a Newfie, right? The stupid Newfie. I go, man, first off, I'm not from Newfoundland.
Yeah.
And Newfoundlanders aren't stupid. Right? So
yeah.
I'm not, so yeah, that didn't go over very well. So eventually I said to the guy, I was like 16 years old, or 15, I guess. I said, listen, man, how about we do this? We put the boxing gloves on.
Yeah.
And if you beat me in a boxing match,
yeah,
then you can call me a stupid Newfie all summer if you want.
That's the deal.
That was the deal I made with him, right?
And what was his end? Or what was your end?
My end said, okay, if I beat you, which I really didn't think I would, quite honest.
Well, he was an adult man, no?
Yeah, he was 22, 23.
Yeah,
I was like 15.
Yeah.
But I was willing to take the chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, if I beat you, then that would be it. Be calling me a stupid Newfoundlander, right?
Yeah.
So he backed down. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I was expecting to get a good thrashing, right?
Yeah. Especially in those days, it wouldn't have like it would have. You guys would have duked it out, and that would have been it.
Oh yeah, that would have been it. We'd just settled with
yeah.
that, and would have continued on as it was. But yeah, that's what I did. So, and then I'd come home in the fall and go back to school, right, and then continue on. But that's our family did it for generations.
It's kind of crazy. It's almost like the people that come up from like Jamaica to pick tomatoes or strawberries or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you're just coming from the East Coast.
We used to go to the East Coast, from the East Coast to Alberta or whatever, mostly Alberta. But yeah, that's what we did. So then I thought, yeah, I should be a plumber. And so I went to school to become a plumber.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so anyways, and then so one summer I went out to Edmonton to work as a landscaper. Well, I didn't know what I was going to do. My brother lived out there.
Yeah.
He was an apprentice welder. So I went and lived with him for the summer, and I didn't know what. I knew I'd get a job doing something.
Yeah.
So I ended up with this religious cult type of situation.
What year was this?
I would say that would be 1981.
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay.
So I ended up in this religious organization
Yeah.
laying sod. And I remember the people saying, one day I cursed using the Lord's name in vain. And the guy told me, he comes up to me and said, listen, you can't use the Lord's name in vain, mate. If you want to continue to work for us.
They were serious, eh?
No, they were serious. They're going to let me go, right?
Oh, yeah, you can hit the road, brother.
Yeah, if you're going to curse, you're done, right? So I had to kind of watch what I said after that because I needed that job, right? So I worked for them through all summer. It was a hard go.
What were you guys like? It was like cutting grass and stuff? Or you
No,
guys were
we're rolling truckload after truckload of sod. So
yeah.
you'd be on your knees for like 10 hours a day rolling out sod, right?
Yeah.
It was a big electric plant. So, yeah. So I got through that summer with them. So I went back. That was when I went to vacation school to become a plumber. So I went back to school, and then I got a phone call from these people. Would you like to come out? We got all this trees that we planted in BC. I go, are you kidding me, man? I'm not going to BC. Oh, hell no.
Was they by the tree? You get paid by the tree?
I'm not sure. I didn't get that
You
involved
didn't
with
get
it.
that far in the interview
I
process?
just told them that I'm destined to be a plumber. So.
But it was the same Christian people?
Yeah, the Christian, they were almost like a cult, right?
Yeah.
I remember, so I went through the 2-year program and passed. There was only, out of a class of 20, there was only 3 graduates.
Yeah.
Because the other guys were either smoking dope
Yeah.
or picking magic mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
So they were never
Nothing was
gonna,
getting done.
they definitely weren't going to succeed, right? But there's 3 of us that really were interested in doing what we were going to do for a living.
Yeah.
Like a long-term
Right.
investment. But for the rest of them, oh my goodness, they didn't stand a chance.
Did most of those guys end up becoming plumbers, or they just moved on?
No, I don't. I think they made a 2-year program into a 3-year program.
Oh, they just they did the victory lap.
Yeah, like I'm not sure what happened to the rest of the group, but of the 3, I know they all became plumbers.
Yeah.
The 3 people that actually pushed through and.
One of them was Randy?
No, Randy Allen was on another group. He was years out. See, originally I was going to become an electrician.
Oh, okay.
But you need a grade 10 to be an electrician.
And you only got grade 9?
And I thought that seemed like a long ways away.
Yeah, it's a whole year, you know?
That's another year. So I thought to become a plumber at that time, you need a grade 9. So I said, well, that's as far as I want to go with my academic type of education and become a plumber. So I was a apprentice at a pretty young age when we both left to go to Alberta. Actually, I was on my way to Alberta. I graduated. I was on my way to Alberta. I said, well, I'll stop in Winnipeg because I got relatives out there.
Yep.
And then for a week or maybe 2 at best, and then continue on to Edmonton.
Right.
Anyways, I stopped there for a week. I ended up being there for I think it was 7 months. Anyways, so I got a job in Winnipeg, and then the guy treated me so bad that I put up with it, and then to the point I couldn't put up with it anymore. I've never actually been in jail. Probably never will. But the day that I told this guy off, I physically didn't abuse him, but I verbally did before I left. Because he was throwing hammers and screwdrivers at me and stuff like that, right? That's not...
You can't have it.
No, but where I came from, the job is everything, so you just tolerate it, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can remember the day that where I was in a basement in a pile of mud, working on a piece of pipe, and then he came down and accused me of screwing up on a dimension on a shower stall, custom shower stall, which he was the one that screwed up. So anyways, that day I verbally abused him and I left. I went down to the bar. They had, it was happy hour.
Uh-huh.
So you had free finger food, right?
Oh, yeah. Just keep buying beers.
to start having the beers back, eating his finger food, like coated mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
contemplate your life going forward.
no, I had to reflect on what I was supposed to do in life, right?
Yeah.
So it was a very a nice day in my life because I was relieved I didn't have to deal with this individual anymore.
You were free.
Yeah, I was a free man. Like I say, I'd never been in jail. But if
close.
I was, I know exactly what a prisoner felt like when they opened the
gates and let them out.
Yeah, they gave you $10 to get a cab, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. You get your cab vouchers. You can go wherever the hell you're going.
Yeah.
So then that's when you came out to Ontario, no?
No, so everything couldn't find. That was in the 80s, so there wasn't much work to be had.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, and I became broke because I couldn't find another plumbing. Actually, I sold vacuums for a while. I give that a go. That was an experience on its own.
Yeah.
I sold Kirby vacuums. I took the course.
Oh, how long was the course? A day?
No, it was a 1 week course.
Oh, just to sell vacuums?
Yeah, because you had to know the components of different vacuums, the sales pitches.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I worked for a religious cult, laying sod.
Yeah.
They were equally as bad.
Oh, yeah?
They brainwashed you like you would not believe. Like when we graduated.
For your 1 week course, yeah. Go on.
When we graduated, we was having this big celebration and party.
Oh, my God. They do that every week?
Well, I don't know. I was only there for a short time, but yeah, every week they'd have a different batch of people, right?
And you're selling these how? Door to door?
Door to door, right? So you took the course to pressure people into buying something they can't afford.
That's right. Did they have payment plans, or you had the?
Yeah, you could do the payment plans, but we prefer cash.
Yeah.
Right up front. But anyways, they sold me. So before we left with their vacuums.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have the Wheel of Fortune. They'd spin, right?
Yep.
Well, first off, we'd have sing the vacuum song, the Kirby vacuum song first, right?
Sounds like a cult, yeah.
To get everybody motivated,
Yeah.
and they'd cheer and carry on.
You remember the song?
No, but you can go on YouTube and the
it's there?
It's still there. The
Oh,
Kirby
wow.
vacuum, yeah. You can go on the internet. The Kirby vacuums exist.
The Kirby vacuum was like a big brand at the time?
Yeah, like that was like the Cadillac of vacuums.
It was, oh, wow.
Right?
Why did they have to push them door to door then?
Because
That was the way to do it at the time?
yeah, because I think I'm not sure why. Because I don't think you could only buy them door to door.
Mm.
Right? I don't think you could buy them in a regular store.
Like Sears didn't have Kirby vacuums?
I don't think they did. They had Filter Queens and some other ones, but
A couple
and Vikings and whatever. But the Kirby. So everybody was. I remember our graduation party.
Yeah.
Everybody's going on about how much money they're going to make, and so the Wheel of Fortune that day was diamonds. You could win a diamond if you sold so many Kirbys, right? Or a trip to Hawaii.
How many you have to sell to get a goddamn trip to Hawaii?
That diamond was pretty safe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, nobody's selling 20 vacuums in one
Like
day.
they weren't bringing that diamond out.
No, they know that too.
They're not bringing that diamond into the vault, right?
No, it's probably been there the whole existence of the business.
Who's to say it even existed?
Yeah, you know what? It probably didn't exist. And then
The whole thing was like a sham, I think.
Yeah. Were you working directly for the company, or did you work for a guy that worked for the company?
No, Kirby were direct. It was Kirby.
Okay, I was thinking.
We distribute Kirby. So then you got to remember, I didn't have a vehicle at the time, so I was carting this damn vacuum around on
Did
buses.
you only carry one with you?
Yeah, you only had the one display one, right?
Oh, and then they would ship you, or they would drop it off?
Then somebody would come along with a real one. So I had a 2-wheel cart dragging this damn thing. Remember, it's minus 40
Yeah.
in Winnipeg, in the middle of wintertime.
Yeah.
Portage Avenue, hauling this goddamn vacuum.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
On and off buses.
That sucks. What did you get commission for one vacuum?
I don't know, but it wasn't enough to do what I had to do.
Oh, yeah. No.
I don't know. I never sold one.
Oh, yeah, you didn't even get one. You weren't getting that diamond. You were never going to get that Hawaii trip.
Oh, my God. I'd knock on people's doors.
Yeah.
Knock on the doors. All you want is to get inside to warm up, right?
No, you
It's
don't
minus 40
Yeah.
in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
You've been hauling around this goddamn vacuum all day. Your feet are
Yeah.
freezing. I go, man, just let me in.
Yeah. Get the fuck off our porch. We don't want your
Yeah, I know,
goddamn vacuum.
know.
I got one.
I know. They scare you off like a bad
Yeah.
rodent or some freaking thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
holy Jesus. Anyways, so I did get a couple displays, like demos, I'd say. So you did make a couple dollars if you got a demo, and you could prove that you demoed, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing is first thing you tell the person or ask the person, do you smoke? Yes. Okay. what is it? How much do you smoke a day, or whatever? And so then you do the math and say, well, if you didn't smoke a half a pack of cigarettes,
Oh, that's
you could have a vacuum. Do you
Oh
drink
my
coffee?
God.
Yeah,
That's the oldest
okay,
sales pitch.
that's 50 cents a day for that coffee.
Yeah.
So if you drink coffee or didn't drink coffee, you could afford this vacuum.
Yeah.
So then you do the demonstration. Then you would say, do you realize that most people sleep on a bed of mites?
Oh, yeah, scare them now. Scare tactics.
And what's mites? So I'll show you what mites are. So you show them little microscopic little,
Like a picture?
insects. Yeah, picture of them.
Yeah.
They look like, I don't know, dinosaurs or some damn thing. Anyway, so then you do the vacuum, pull the vacuum out, and you'd have these little sheets around this, right? You throw it down and say, look, this is what you're sleeping on, right? If you own this vacuum, you could eliminate that problem. And the biggest cause of people with respiratory problems is these damn mites.
Damn.
Skin, the decayed skin that they're consuming. But anyways, so I went on. That didn't last. And it wouldn't make any money at that. So eventually I got to the point. I went on to do a few other things in Winnipeg. I was offloading juju beams at Easter time and Easter eggs into these trains at one of these Kelly service places. But
Yeah.
anyways, I got to the point. I go, you know what? I'm not going anywhere here.
Just odd jobs.
I know. I came here to become a journeyman. Then I got desperate. I go, you know what? I think I'm going to join the Army.
Oh, man.
That's what I should do.
Yep.
So I went down to the recruiting office, right? And I said to the guy, I said, yeah, I'd like to join the Army. And he says, I said, I want to get in as a tradesperson, right? Oh, we don't have any positions for trade people. All we have is infantry.
Oh, yeah.
I go, oh, my God. I'm not marching all over the goddamn. I don't want to be a marcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he said, well, how about this? Come back Monday, we do the physical, and then we'll sign you up, right? I said, okay, I guess so. So then I had the weekend to think about it, and I go, hell no, I'm not doing
Yeah, you'd be in some base in Newfoundland somewhere, right?
Yeah, Christ, I'm not doing that. I had a few drinks in me, and I go, man, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that would have been a mistake, probably.
That would have, a huge mistake. So then I went back to Nova Scotia, and for a short duration of time, I was running a crew of, because I spent my youth in apple trees, right?
Right.
Pruning apple trees at Charles I. Smith's place.
Yep.
Anyway, so I had the experience, and there was an orchard of like 2,000 trees, so I had a group of young people. Well, I was young myself.
Yep.
But of pruning these trees.
Yep.
So then I did that, and then I thought, oh, you know what? I think I'm not going back to Alberta. I never even made it to Alberta.
You didn't get there yet.
I didn't get there. I was on the way. Anyways, I ended up. My brother phoned me up and said, "Mark, can you come out?" And he's having some problems.
Okay.
So, anyways, I went to Alberta, but yeah, it's been pretty. I had quite a different life growing up in Nova. Most of my exciting stories would be probably regarding Nova Scotia.
For sure.
That would be for the different type of a life that I lived, and the people around me were kind of different too.
It's almost a world that doesn't really exist in Canada anymore, like how you grew up, right?
No, that was like in the 80s and 70s, right? Like people don't do that sort of.
No.
They don't live like that anymore. Like,
Even the hitchhiking and the stuff like that, like no one's doing that unless you're like real homeless, you know?
I know. People don't hitchhike anymore either. That's how we got. We're cubs, just little cubs.
Yeah.
So that's how we got to Windsor. It would be like 8 miles away.
Yeah.
You'd have 10, 11-year-olds hitchhiking to get to Cubs, right?
Yeah, like Cub Scouts, right?
Yeah, you get your uniform on. You got to get there, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to.
Some guy just grabs you, and you could easily been kidnapped.
Oh my God, yeah. There was so much trust in people in those days. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Then we lived beside a gypsum company, and they used to blast like gypsum every so often. So we were the adventurous type, right? So we put our backpacks on, grab some matches in case you wanted to make a little fire, cook some eggs or whatever.
Yep.
And then go back to gypsum company into the mines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get out there, and all of a sudden the sirens start going. And that tells you they're going to blast. And
Right.
it gives you half an hour to find a shelter, right?
Yeah.
Since they blast. I remember we were pretty close to a blast there once, and they had fallout shelters.
Yeah.
So we would be like, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, something like that. Run into these fallout shelters, and then you'd hear a ting, ting, like the gypsum hitting the fallout shelters, eh?
Jesus
So if we didn't
Christ.
have the shelters, for sure, we would have been.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Plastic.
would have. Oh, it probably killed us, right?
Oh, for sure.
And we're in all kinds of. Like we were never like bad kids, but we
Yeah.
were in a lot of different stuff going on, right?
Well, you just had a lot of freedom. And
Yeah.
And you're a kid, so you go get into situations, right? You think.
Yeah. Well, my mom would, because we fought so much when we were kids.
Yeah.
It was like a blessing for us,
Yeah.
for her.
Get the hell out of the house.
Yeah, the kids would get out and do your thing. So there used to be gypsum trains that run from Warmth Road to Windsor, which would be like 7 miles away, and it'd be going slow enough you could just jump right on it, right?
Right.
And that'd be a free trip into Windsor.
Yeah.
Have a little trip into Windsor, right?
Would Victor come on these often?
Oh, Victor never came on any of
It's
these
just
stuff.
you and Marshall mostly.
Because me and Marshall would grab our machetes and then our pellet guns
Yeah.
and some food. And sometimes not even food, you just go for the day. And Mother Nature would provide it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we'd always had stretchers in our backpacks.
Yep.
So if you got hungry, you found yourself like a branch with a little V in it.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those and some barbed wire, and shoot like 3 or 4 squirrels, and that would be your snack for your lunch, right? So you'd be roasting up squirrels in the
Right. A
in
little
the woods.
rotisserie, a spit.
Yeah.
type
And
of
so
thing.
because we were trappers, we kept the pelts and we sell the pelts in the wintertime to Hudson Bay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was. I don't know how many squirrels I've had in my life. I ate a lot of squirrels. I don't eat squirrels anymore.
No. Different time for sure.
I'm kind of past that stage in my life. Had
Yeah.
squirrels, right?
You're not that hard up.
No, but growing up poor is we had definitely a benefit for sure, because you learned a lot of skills at an early age, building skills, electrical skills,
Yep.
Stuff that if you had money you'd never have to do, right?
No, not
So,
at all.
Yeah, it was a different lifestyle.
Definitely like a big gap from how we grew up to how you grew up,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, and everybody around us in the same situations. They really didn't,
Yeah.
really didn't notice it.
It was just normal.
Yeah, because I think only people had running water were the people on the top of the hill, because we lived at the bottom, and it was the craziest thing, because no one had septic tanks, and so all their sewage would run right down the creek, right down the ditch, right in front of you. Oh my God! Even then, why wouldn't they have an outhouse?
Yeah, no doubt. No, they didn't care. They're like, fuck it, send it.
Yeah, like
Put a pipe down to the creek.
they don't. People didn't care.
No.
I know there was a family that lived beside us. They put a addition on their house. It took them a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't even take the shingles off the side of the house.
Just right over, just
Right
attached
over-
right onto it.
Yeah, just attached right to the shingles. Oh my God! And there's a whole clan of those people. My God.
Yeah, you know what? It would have been definitely like, I mean, to you it seemed normal, right? But it would have been like, looking back now, it's just like interesting.
Yeah, because when we moved from Warmth Road, because the house we lived in was my great aunt's house,
Yeah.
and it had already been moved like 3 times.
The house itself.
Yeah.
They picked it up and moved it.
Yeah, they moved it 3 times. It's like had mud basement,
Yeah,
right, and
yeah.
just sitting on basically not a foundation, just cinder blocks.
Just block, yeah.
So she said either buy the house or move, right?
Yeah.
So my dad says, I'm not buying that house. So we moved. So we lived in a tent for a while,
Yeah.
like this big army tent
Mm-hmm.
in a park, Evangeline, right on the ocean, right on the valley.
And there was 3 of you at that time? When then your
No, it
parents?
was everybody.
The whole crew was alive?
Five
Five
kids,
people.
yeah.
5 kids in one tent. It's a
Yeah, but a big tent. There was a big.
well, it's still a tent.
Yeah, that's what we lived in. Yeah.
Right? It's still a tent.
So I know what it's like to live in a tent. We lived in there for a while. So then my grandfather passed away same time frame, and so my dad was the next one to inherit the farm,
Yep.
because it was in our family for 200 years. Like our family's been in Canada for like 250 years.
Yep.
So he was to take it over. So we moved in there, and then my grandmother decided she'd like to sell the place. So Christmas, 2 days before Christmas, we moved into another house.
Is that the house that they have now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the haste of moving, my mom forgot to leave she left some Christmas gifts in the closet.
Yeah.
So then I took a day off school. I took days off school all the time. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably a lot of days off school.
Well, I didn't see the value in it, right?
I don't blame you because you look around.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't have changed anything for me. All these extra days at school.
No, you didn't need those.
Even then, we walked into that school when we were kids. It was mostly a black school.
Yeah.
And so we were on the other side. We were the minority.
Yeah.
And which is fine, but we used to get the crap kicked at us all the time, right?
Right.
White honkies.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a learning experience for me. But we had, because we were poor, most kids had the skidoo pants.
Yep.
So when you're sliding down the hill, you can slide quite easily, right?
Yeah.
But we had those like wool Mennonite pants.
Right.
And they're warm as hell.
Yeah.
But they didn't slide very well.
No.
And then they got wet. They smelled like an old dog, right? Good old, oh my God. Kids made fun of you, right? Because you had these goddamn black.
It's funny. It's like, I think most people wouldn't suspect that there would be so many black people, especially in the 70s in Nova Scotia, of all places.
Yeah, Nova Scotia probably has because a lot of them escaped slavery.
That was where the Underground Railroad ended up, right?
Yeah, that was one of the spots that came out was Nova Scotia. So I don't know if the government gave them land or what the situation was, but they all kind of settled in different locations but as a group, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, if you're from another country and you want to be surrounded by your family.
Yeah,
so
sure.
that's why Nova Scotia has a huge black population. Yeah,
I think most people would be surprised to hear that. Actually,
I know most people would be surprised because the school I went to was 3 Mile Plains, and so there's Pontic Road, which is most all black people.
Yeah,
even today, mostly black people, right?
Right.
Which is different than it was in the 70s.
Yep.
There had not so much racial tensions going on anymore. And like the 70s was a different situation. But anyways, we did wear this, and I wore rubber boots too because we couldn't afford. I remember one year we couldn't afford rubber boots, so my mom went to my grandmother and asked her if she could buy these kids some winter boots.
Yeah.
She says, I'll buy one pair. She said, I'll buy one pair of boots. Yeah. And my mom says, you can't buy, because there's only 3 of us at the time, right? If you can't buy 3 pairs of boots, I don't want any boots.
Yeah.
So we ended up wearing rubber boots with felts.
Your toes are just freezing.
Yeah, there were some cold days, I'll tell you. There's rubber boots. Like
yeah.
There's not much insulation in rubber.
Just this much rubber, right?
Yeah. And so the house we lived in, that we were always having chimney fires, right?
Yeah.
So my mom used to put the fire out at night, and that was our only source of heat.
Yeah.
So when you went to bed, we always had lots of cats, right? Yeah. We always had they'd be kicking around 15 to 20 cats kicking around, right? Yeah. Keep the rats and mice population down.
Yeah.
And then cats multiply so quick anyways.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Come spring, you have another few batches.
Yeah. Some have died, some have made it.
Yeah, some made it through winter, some didn't. So anyways, so the house is cold. There's no heat. And the windows are single pane. You couldn't even keep a match lit.
No way. Just the wind just flying through them, eh?
Oh, I'll tell you. It toughens you up because we had layers of blankets we went to bed with. And one blanket was from my dad worked at a pulp plant. And it's like, they call it pulp blankets. They wrap the pulp logs with.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're warm, but if you're right up against your skin, you'd have a rash.
Oh, yeah?
It's like sandpaper.
Reacted to your skin?
No, it was like sandpaper.
Oh, you're moving around, it's rubbing
on
your
no,
skin.
just tear the skin right off you. Anyway, so, yeah, so that was cold. So what you do, you get a few cats, throw them underneath your quilts to keep you warm at night near your feet, right?
Yeah.
And then in the morning they would surface. And then, so, okay, it's morning now. It's still cold. It hasn't changed. My mom's just making a fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And it takes a while for that heat up old cast iron stove because we cook with wood. Anyways, so you grab your clothes, you pull them in, warm up a bit, and then you'd always dress underneath the quilts.
Oh, yeah, you grab it off the edge of the bed or something? Like
yeah, you pull them inside, and then you dress underneath the quilt. So it was, and so you warmed up. Now we had hardwood floors, and then that heavy or heavy, almost like tar paper,
Yeah.
vinyl flooring at the time.
Right.
So there's no rugs or anything. So my dad we had goats, and so every so often he'd butcher a goat for himself or maybe for a customer.
Yep.
And keep the pelts. So he jumped from goat pelt to goat pelt.
Just a series of goat pelts to the door.
So your feet wouldn't freeze, right?
Yeah.
It was a big ordeal just to get it,
just to get up.
just to get going for the day, right? It wasn't easy. Then if you wanted to brush your teeth, because we didn't have running water, there was a hammer beside them. If it was really cold, you take the hammer, smash the ice in the bucket of water, right?
Yep.
And there was a dipper there.
Yep.
And you had your drink of water and brush your teeth. And that's how.
Did you guys have toothpaste?
We did have toothpaste. I didn't like using it much. That's probably why I got so many cavities.
Yeah.
That's why I had, when I left home, first thing I did, when I first got a plan together, I told the guy, I said, man, do everything that book will let you do.
Yeah.
Because I had so many cavities because I didn't like brushing my teeth.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. It's like living in a third world, you know? And this is Canada.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure, I mean, there's people out there who, even today, or have it worse than I had. At least that ever.
In Nova Scotia?
Oh, and sure, there's like you're homeless and whatnot, right?
Oh, home, yeah. But
I mean, for families?
Someone is not raising a family like that in Canada.
I want to say in Nova Scotia, you probably still find them.
You got power, at least. You have
yeah, we had
water.
power. You would think, I don't think you could live in I don't know, maybe not. With the rules they got now, I don't think you'd be allowed
to. Child services would be taking the kids.
There's no more outhouses, right?
Yeah. At least now they would have water. Everyone has water.
I would think they'd have.
Family-wise, maybe some guy doesn't, but like if you have a family, you have to have water.
You should have running water, right?
Oh, trust me, those kids would show up to school.
It's all scurfy.
And then they would be like, all right, someone send an authority out.
How come their skin's all dirty, right?
Yeah, it's all rashed up and dirty. These kids never showered.
Well, the people beside us didn't have running water. The Lunds, and she had 18 kids, that girl. She started having kids when she was 14.
That's crazy because she couldn't even support them as they were, right?
No, and not each kid had a different dad, but there was a lot of different dads there.
Damn.
And, the Lunds. And they had a big boar pig that lived right in the basement.
He just hung out in the basement?
Yeah, in the morning, Rita would let him out. And
go around the yard?
Yeah, he'd come right over to our place.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's no fences. You just walk to the next place.
Yeah, so that's what they did. They had a big boar pig, yeah. So.
And I'm assuming, like, the welfare system wasn't what it is now. Like, there's no big safety net to help people, right?
The welfare system existed because there was a lot of people on welfare.
But, like, would you get money per kid type of thing? Or you just got a general...
No, I think you got so much per... But it didn't pay very well, right?
Not enough to keep the 18 kids. They got to cut you off eventually, right? You can't have 18 kids worth of child support or welfare.
Well, what happened there, because Rita wanted a new house.
Yeah.
Because the house she got, she was a bootlegger. So that's how she made her money, between that and welfare.
Yeah.
She sold beer. And then, so she didn't like that place anymore. And this is what the story went originally.
Yeah.
She didn't like it. She found herself a sugar daddy.
Okay.
Right?
Which would be tough to do. Would have been tough to do.
No, she was nothing to look at, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah. So she really put into work to get that.
I don't know how she became a sugar. She found this. Well, the one guy, he had a plate in his head. He got shot in the Second World War, one of her boyfriends.
Yeah.
So he said on his birthday, he'd like to have a cake made, but real vanilla. Like, just put some alcohol in that cake.
Yeah.
So the girls did. And he got drunk. And they had a bus, an old bus that didn't work right beside their house. Mm-hmm. So Rita threw him out in that bus overnight, and he got frostbite. He ended up losing a toe.
She screwed him big time.
Yeah, gangrene said he ended up losing a toe. This Raymond Peach, his name was. He had a plate in his head. Yeah. So that'd have been hellish. Right? He got shot in the Second World War. So, anyways, that was one of the boyfriends, or husbands, or fathers, or whatever. But so the story went around that Rita wanted another house, and welfare wasn't going to help her out. She says, you know what? Piss on this. I'm going to burn my house down.
Oh, yeah?
So she did. So that was the story. So years later, I'm talking to the daughter, and the real story was because Rita moved on to this new sugar daddy, right?
Yep.
Left the two kids to fend for themselves.
Oh, the oldest ones, I hope, at least.
No, they weren't oldest.
There's a couple. Pick two in the middle, and you're done, brother.
I almost say they were the youngest ones.
But she had to take care of them the most. Like, you're sorry, man, we don't have the time.
So these two, I don't want to mention names, but these two were left behind. And then they said, you know what? They discussed it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to burn this house down. And they got to come and get us in. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
They put some gasoline. In the first attempt, they failed.
Yep.
So they came out of the bush and relit it. And the second attempt was a success. And the house burnt down. And I was there. I remember because the whole area of people came out.
Yeah.
Because they came right out of the woods, those people. They were deep into the Appalachian Mountains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just barely could walk and talk, for Christ's sakes.
So they burned the house down, and then what?
So they burned the house down. So they said, Mom will have to come and get us, right?
Yeah.
Well, she never did.
Oh, now they don't even have a house. But they didn't get in trouble for burning the house down?
Well, it wasn't much of a house. Whatever, it was a roof.
Yeah.
So anyways, eventually they said, you know what, like 2 days into the bush, like they're hungry and lacking water and whatnot. They tracked down the mom and they ended up moving with the sugar daddy, but they weren't paying their hydro.
Yeah.
So one of the boys went up the pole and reconnected.
On his own?
Yeah, he was only a kid. He'd
tied it back in?
Tied it back in. He was like,
yeah.
He was like 15 years old or 14, right?
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
I remember we had a feud with that group. So I went over there because they had all these girls, and there's a bunch of Newfoundlanders came over to pick strawberries.
Yeah.
So they're fraternized with these girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were lonely. The girls were lonely, whatever. So Alan we used to go back, or Alan went back to my camp we had built and stolen some stuff from me.
Yeah.
So I said to Alan, where the heck's he stole my, it was a Coleman lantern and and a hatchet. Anyways, Alan told me to F off, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say. I'd be like, I don't know, 15, 14. So I said, come over closer to that fence and we'll see about telling me to F off.
Yeah.
So Alan got close, and then there's this big, tall Newfoundlander comes out of nowheres, right?
Yep.
Terry Gavin, his name was. He says, what do you shouldn't be bugging Alan. I said, what are you going to do about it, man?
Yeah.
I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. And I was just close enough. I didn't realize his arm was that long. Smashed me right in the head, right?
Just rocked you one.
No, he knocked me out. One shot.
Yeah, yeah.
I was on the ground. All I could see is stars. I go, holy shit. Anyways, I never got my lantern and hatchet back. But years later, like a lot of years later, I ended up living with that guy.
With the Newfoundlander?
Yeah. I was in Alberta.
No way.
My brother kicked me out of his house.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't get groceries with him.
Oh, yeah, it's reasonable.
And then I said, man, I'm homeless in Alberta.
Yeah.
So this fella phoned up and said, man, can I come live with you? Hell yeah, come on over.
How did you get in contact with him?
Well, I knew him from when I was out there. I used to hang out with him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He went from an enemy to one of my best friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Like later, like years later.
Yep.
In life, but yeah, it was they're quite a crew of people. They weren't missed when the house burned down.
No, yeah.
Like everybody was out there in the neighborhood, like
cheering.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, they
silently
were.
cheering in their heads, like thank God they're gone.
Because it was they had this big old workhorse that died.
Yeah.
And it just died right beside the house, and all you could see is.
And they let it rot.
Yeah, right beside the house.
Oh yeah, just.
All you can see is hoofs. You can see the hoofs.
Yeah.
Like up in the air. Oh my God.
But they didn't have a dad. They had a bunch of dads, but no one was around.
There was all kinds of dads, yeah.
They just came and went as they pleased?
Yeah, for the night, they spent the night.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that Rita was ugly. My God, she was an ugly woman. But she had talent somewhere because, I'm sure the men she was having an affair with weren't nothing to look at either, right? So
yeah,
that's the best they could do.
Options were limited.
Yeah, it's not like you had a lot of different options, like for those people, anyways, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But oh my God, yeah. But it was a very different lifestyle. So I used to spend a lot of times up Charles I. Smith's place because I own partnership in an orchard. I was the only 16-year-old had his own car,
Yep.
insurance, because I worked with picking apples and sold apples and I ate and I did all kinds of stuff for money. But so I used to go up to Charles all the time. Actually, there's a show on TV called Up Home Tonight, and I was on that started that show every night.
What, picking apples
No, they would. It was a folk music type of. It was an actual show,
right,
by CBC.
Okay.
Gordon Stobie was, I think, the guy in charge of it all, right?
Yep.
So at the start of it, you'd see a 1979 Ford Country. What was it called? Squire. Country Squire station wagon pull up to Charles's place.
Oh yeah.
And then we'd get out of the car, me, Tom, Chip, and go into this house, this coach house.
Yep.
And that would be the start of Up Home Tonight.
Oh yeah.
And the music.
Have you seen that since?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
You can find it. I'll have to
It's
pull
in
it
the
up.
80s. It was made in 83, 84, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
Up Home Tonight, yeah.
I'll have to pull it up.
Gordon Stobie's. Then you go inside, and inside's the studio in Halifax, CBC,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
But I was there on a Christmas, they had a Christmas show up there.
Oh yeah.
And they used up so much power, it blew the transformer right off the pole.
Jesus Christ.
And it shut the whole operation.
Yeah.
But we had a good time because we were inside. They brought all this beer and food.
Yep.
And it was probably the best, at that time would have been the best artists in land of Canada were there.
Oh
The
really?
musicians, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we partied with those guys.
Yeah,
Had
yeah.
the fiddles and the mandolins and yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah,
So,
especially for you. I'm sure you never.
no, we'd never seen him.
Right.
A celebrity, right? These guys are all celebrities. Like
Yeah.
top fiddle player in Canada.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, definitely quite the upbringing.
yeah, it was different than
Even out there, even now, like I said, it'd be a rarity for someone to be living like that, right?
No, it's
Right,
too
what
bad
happened?
because those days everything was simple and there was a lot of honest people out there,
Yeah.
and you know all we were trying to do is just live life, and you know we weren't trying to hurt anybody or do anything
Yeah.
bad to anybody. So
When do you think that kind of started to change?
I didn't really see the change because I left. I would see it now and again when I come home because where I come from, everybody helped everybody.
Yeah.
So if there was somebody needed a shed fix or you got behind and you're cutting wood, so you'd have like a wood splitting party or whatever, right?
Yeah, get all the boys
And
over.
so I noticed when I get into my 30s that things weren't the same as they used to be, right? People
Yep.
weren't so easy to help their neighbor.
Yep.
So they're kind of more standoffish type of thing or more self-centered, I would say.
Right.
Right? Instead of helping, which I think as a whole society, I think that's where everything's kind of gone wrong. But,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You should be able to help somebody as much as you can.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
But no one wants to help anybody. Or
No.
even talk to anybody. Never mind helping.
No.
They don't
Yeah.
even want to communicate with people unless it's on a cell phone.
It's definitely an every man for yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, and I don't even have a cell phone.
No.
Right?
Never
so
have.
I probably never will.
You'll
Right.
die without one.
No, and my wife has a tablet, and that's what keeps us going.
Even most guys that I work with that are your age at least have a cell phone.
Yeah, I met two people yesterday that didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
These are the first people I've met in years.
Even the one guy I work with, he doesn't have he has a cell phone, but it's only texting. It's an iPhone, but he only texts on it. Like he's not. But even him, and he's in his 50s. He's a little younger than you, but almost everybody that I work with, and I work with a lot of guys your age, right?
Yeah,
and
they have
all of cell phones.
You got to have it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to. You have someone else in the family that's
Yeah.
literate regarding. I was there when computers were born, right?
Yeah,
and yet
right.
I still live in the 80s,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
No,
So
that's a topic that we talk about quite a bit, Dan and I. On here. There's definitely something to that. I mean, I always say if I made millions today, I'd get off all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to do this, so I would be tempted to keep Instagram and stuff, but I wouldn't have this. You know
no,
what I
there's
mean?
nothing wrong with the technology. Like it's got a lot of good things going for it too.
Yeah.
It's not all negative, but people get informed if you need to know something. How do I fix that wash machine?
True.
Hell, man, I just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a guy shows up with a screwdriver and a...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. I think the problem is, like, it's nice to have Google and YouTube and Spotify for music, because the music is so accessible. On this, I have every song with a click. But it's the doom scrolling where you just get caught up in these, like, you click the thing and next thing you know you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and then it's, you look up and it's like your eyes are tweaked and it's an hour later and you're like you think you killed 5 minutes.
I know that's a problem because people go out as a group.
Yeah.
I think it's your cell phone. People go out as a family and you see them at a restaurant and it brings a tear to my eye, I swear to God.
For sure.
When you see a mother and a father and 2 kids and everybody's got a cell phone, instead of talking about what they're doing or, knowing what's going on in their lives, everybody's got their eyes glued on that stupid cell phone or tablet, right?
Yep.
And that's where the problem. That's why you don't have communities like Falmouth and other communities across Canada.
For sure.
That they don't have that close-knit social things. Plus, in my day, we used to have dances like once a month. You'd have a dance at the community center.
Yep.
And so that would give you a chance to socialize with everybody in the neighborhood, right? So
yeah.
That's all gone.
I never see anything. Even when I was a kid, once a month I would go to the much dances, right? And we do that every month. I don't think that kind of thing exists anymore.
I don't think that's it because people ruined it with their violence and whatnot. And then
it's a liability.
Yeah, and school doesn't want to deal with any of that stuff. So it's too bad that type of error and times kind of come and gone. But what we used to do, when we were kids, we go into Windsor and give a guy a couple extra dollars. Next thing you know, you get a 2-4 on the other side of the fence, or a pint of rum or whatever. Yep. Go to the dance, have a few beers behind the community center. Wouldn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And then go in and dance, and then between dancing, you come outside and to be a buddy fighting with somebody. Yeah. Right? Smashing at each other. Sure. And then the next day they're buddies anyways, but they're all got black eyes and whatnot. Yeah. So that would be free entertainment, right? Absolutely. I remember one time I was like 12 years old, I guess. And we're all in Bobby Bendick's car. He had a 76 Comet 2-door. And drinking beer. Bobby's in the front, listening to 8-track player music. We was at a dance. Anyways, we're all sipping on beers, and then somebody goes, "Oh, I think that's an RCMP cruiser." So everybody jumps out, but I get caught up in I couldn't escape, right? Yeah. So I said, "Okay, I guess I'm here now, right?" So I put the beer underneath my arm, and then the cop gets out of the cruiser and says, "You guys been drinking tonight?" "No, officer, we've been good." He says, "Son, would you mind getting come out of that car?" So I come out and I had the beer under my arm. So that had to come out of my arm. He said, "Oh," he says, "What do you got under your arm there?" Yeah, like you can't tell, right? Yeah. I go, "Yeah, it's just a beer, man." I'd be 12, I guess. And he goes, "Oh, okay. Who did you get the?" And before this, Bobby Bendick told me, he says, "If they ask where you got the beer, tell them I gave it to you." I go, "Really? Okay." Okay, so Bobby was like 16 anyways, right? Yeah. He wasn't like he was an adult. Yeah. I didn't realize. Anyways, so they said Bob Bendick. Bob Good looks at me like he was, "What? Did you just tell him I just gave him?" Yeah, he told me to. He told me to, man. So anyways, he puts me in the back of the cruiser and asks me a bunch of questions. By this time, before this happened, we didn't lose a 2-4. They got the 2-4. They got it out. Escaped, right, with the 2-4. So anyways, he said, "Well, I'm going to have to fine you for illegal possession, right? $13.50. I go, "Oh, shit." He says, "I'm going to let you get off easy this time, but if I catch you next time, it's going to be like a $500 fine." Damn. That would have crippled you. It didn't exist, right? It didn't exist. Yeah, he's just scaring you. That didn't exist. That would have been insane fine at that time. Oh my God, $13.50. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking, how am I going to pay you this? Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. Anyway, so he lets me go. I go behind the schoolhouse, and everybody's there, and I explain what happened. And so the cruisers the RCMP go up. They shut the lights off, waiting for us to come out, right? Yeah. I try to catch you slipping. We're not that dumb, man. Yeah. Finally, they just gave up and went on about the business. But it took a lot of collecting money. I said, listen, everybody's got to chip in on this fund,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You took the
Quarters
you took
and dimes and nickels. And I gave Bobby Bendick a bag of coins like a month later to pay the $13.50 illegal possession fine, right? And he went into the court and
paid it up. Just a teenager. Here you go.
here's a bag of change, right?
Yeah.
And like Bobby himself had misfortunes in life. He ended up losing that one arm. We had 3 guys in our area, one-armed.
Yeah, that's
one-armed bandits, we call them.
That's a lot for such a small community.
I know. There's only a few of us there. There was 3 guys that had one arms, and so if you ever wrestled a guy with one arm,
yeah,
it's kind of a different experience because he'll put that stub right up against your throat, right?
There's no choice. He has to use what he's got.
I know. That Bobby was good at it,
yeah,
too.
good. Most of his life, right? He didn't have that arm.
I know. We used to hay, and I think this would be interesting because to get on a haying crew when I was young was like winning the lottery, right? Because that means you're making some money.
Yeah.
So Bobby Bendick was on there. Going, this would be interesting to see how because you got to use a pitchfork to get as the hay went up, you use a pitchfork, right?
Yep.
But he'd get that pitchfork on that stub, right? And toss that hay just as good as anybody.
That stub must have been strong. Like
oh my God, I arm wrestled that stub once. You know what happened to him one time? He got caught drinking and driving in a lawnmower tractor. Yep. And so the cop pulled him over, and the guy pulled out the handcuffs. That wasn't gonna.
That ain't stopping him.
No, you gotta have a hand for that. You gotta have handcuffs, a hand for those to work, right? Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, Bob Bendick was a different.
Rest his soul.
Yeah, God bless him. He was one of the good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a kind of a different lifestyle for sure. Yeah, and every spring we be on the prowl for baby raccoons. We always had pet baby raccoons growing up. If we knew how dangerous to have those raccoons, because they carried all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not like you guys were taking them to a vet and getting shots, right?
No, Christ, no.
It's just a wild animal you got from a baby or whatever, right?
Yeah, you just raise them, and they're fine until they become adults.
Yeah.
And then they have a different way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
I had one that used to go underneath the sofa, take him in the house, play with him for a while, and he'd go underneath that sofa, and it was time for him to leave, right? And he didn't want to leave. He just bite the hell out of you.
yeah, no doubt. He doesn't want to leave.
He'd bite your
He's
hand.
accustomed to that life.
I know. We take him back over to his cage.
Yeah.
Just bite the hell out of your hands, right? Trying to get him, wrestle with him to get him in the cage.
Potential rabies case.
Oh yeah, between that and their droppings and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're not the healthiest animals ever.
No, God,
they're not really designed to have a pet, right?
No.
So we used to trap them to when we were kids. So I remember a lady phoned me up one time. She says, "Oh, Mark, I see Gibby's down in the tree. He's down at the corner on the tree." And I go, "Really? How in the hell did Gibby get down there?" So I went out, and Gibby was in his cage. Mm-hmm. I go, "Okay, that's not Gibby, but whatever." So my brother climbed up this big elm tree. My dad and me were down there at the bottom, ready to retrieve this animal. Yeah. With a stick and a bucket, right?
It's a grown raccoon.
Oh yeah, full grown,
okay.
full
wild animal.
A big one.
All right, carry on.
So my brother gets out to the limb and knocks him off the limb, and the raccoon hits the ground, and he's running. So we're after him with this bucket and stick, right, trying to crawl him to this bucket. We scooped him up, and we took him back, put him in the cage.
Now you had a second one. But he was like, that wasn't a domesticated one. He was already wild. He wasn't gonna bend to you, right?
Well, we had other plans, but whatever. Yeah.
He was gonna be a pelt eventually.
He's gonna. So when the weather gets colder, the fur gets thicker.
Oh, that's when you slaughter him.
Yeah, that's when he became
a rug.
He ended up going to Hudson Bay. I got one time, raccoon in town, and that thing stretched 4 feet. It was like a baby bear, that one.
Jesus Christ.
It was the biggest I didn't know raccoons even grew that big.
What was he eating?
I'm not sure, but my cousin phones me up and says, you got to come here because I got a raccoon in the live trap that I put. Because they have raccoon issues. Yeah. I get there, and I don't know how that raccoon even got in the trap, but he's filled it. Anyways, so eventually we managed to get him home. And he stretched 4 feet. I got $120 for that pelt.
Jesus Christ, that would have been a fortune.
No, because we sent all our stuff to Hudson Bay, Toronto, and they would auction off, right?
Yep.
fox, raccoons, muskrats.
Yep.
I was catching muskrats since I was like 6. And then 6 years old, get up, leave the house, go down to there's a big pond by the gypsy company, and have all these traps set for muskrats. And because they're worth like 50 cents a piece, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's...
So and it didn't take very long to skin a muskrat
Yeah.
and stretch them. But that's what I did when I was a kid, get on this old bicycle. Anything to make $1 because we don't have $1.
Yeah.
You know, I remember losing 10 cents one time. There was a convenience store,
Yeah.
Flynn's. I came back with a change and I lost 10 cents between Flynn's and our place. There's only a few houses. And I go, it was like losing a fortune. I ripped through all that grass looking for that 10 cents.
Damn. That's tough.
It was like a
That's
fortune,
tough.
man. I had to tell my mom, I go, I lost 10 cents, man. I don't know what to tell you. I had the grass all ripped up, but never did find it.
Damn. That would have
I
broke
must
your
have
heart.
had a hole in my pocket or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have broke your heart.
Oh, my God, it did, because the guy beside us was, what's his name? God. I can see him. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't remember his name. But anyways, he had a drinking problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Murray Young.
Okay.
He had a drinking problem. He used to like vanilla, like real vanilla.
Yep.
So behind his outhouse, there was a big pile of bottles, vanilla bottles. That's how much he drank of vanilla. Anyway, so eventually they wouldn't sell them anymore, the store. So he would send me up, and I'd buy this vanilla for him. Give me an extra 5 cents or whatever.
Yeah, that's a little income for you.
So I was like his bootlegger.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I remember he was drunk one time. He burned his house down because he was trying to get some insurance money.
Yeah.
Burned his house down. Anyways, it never came through. They caught him. It was obviously it was arson.
Now he just doesn't even have a house.
No, he's got this old trailer he's living in. And anyways, he was drunk all the time. I never seen him sober. Anyways, we were having a barbecue, like an open pit barbecue thing. And Murray's up there and he says, "Hey, Mark, come on up here." "What's up, Murray?" "If you go down and get one of those hot dogs for me, I'll give you like 50 cents. I go, "Really? Okay." He said, "Run it through the garden." Run it through the garden? I don't know what the hell does that mean. So I talked to my mom, and she says, I said, "Murray wants a hot dog, and he told me to run it through the garden." I go, "What does that mean?" "Oh, that means he wants everything on
Oh,
it."
he wants the works. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
So anyways, I went down, and I got him the hot dog, put it on a bun, ran it through the garden. And I brought it up, I said, "Yeah, here's your hot dog, Murray." So I go to hand it to Murray, and it dropped on he purposely dropped it on the ground, right?
Oh, because he was still going to eat it.
Well, he didn't want to pay for it,
He
right?
didn't want to pay. Yeah, exactly.
Didn't have the 50 cents.
Yeah. He did, but he still can eat that hot dog.
Oh, hell yeah. I go, "Murray, just drop that hot dog." He says, "Well, I'm not paying for it now."
Yeah. You walk away, he picks it up, right?
He does. He knocks the gravel off it.
Yeah. What a guy, eh? What a con man.
He ate the hot dog. I see him eat it. He son of a bitch.
He just bought the guy a hot dog.
He just got a free hot dog. But he had it when he burned his house down. He said, "Mark, come up, give me a hand with this furniture." It was in the fire, right?
Yeah.
So we dug it out of the house, and he said, "I'll give you half of what this furniture sells for."
Isn't it charred up?
It had some smoke stains. Some other stuff we drug out, put on the side. Anyways, it was a fire sale, right? So it had a big sign, "Fire sale."
Yeah.
And then fire sale half price, and then it went down to. So I said to Murray, I said, "Man, I wouldn't have that furniture that close to the curb, right?"
Yeah. That's looking like garbage. And it looks like garbage.
I know. So anyways, one day he comes out and the furniture's all gone. He's all pissed now, right? He says, "Mark, somebody stole all my furniture." "Really?" I think you garbage.
Yeah, that truck picked it up earlier, I think, brother. It's Thursday, It's garbage day.
He lost the garbage took his furniture, right? Oh my God. We were surrounded by, my whole life I was surrounded by alcoholics, so.
It's funny because it's just like this grown man that's just like interacting with this child all the time, getting him to get hot dogs. And, "Hey, help me sell my burnt furniture."
I know, he's taught me how to run a lawnmower too.
Yeah.
I used to mow his lawn.
What happened to that guy? How old did he make it to?
You know what? It was amazing because eventually his mother passed away, and then he spent a lot of winters in that trailer. And that was just an ordinary camper trailer, right? No insulation.
Yeah.
There's no way he should have survived it, but he did. And he drank. He was an alcoholic the other day. Threw him in a pine box.
Jeez.
And I seen him. He managed to get into Windsor because this is Worm's Road, and at like one of those, like a nursing home type of deals.
Yeah.
And he I think he got into his 70s.
That's good.
I know, for what his lifestyle was. There's no way that man should have made it in his 60s, never mind 70s.
No.
Murray Young, yeah.
Yeah, because even think about how you live, but think about even the generation before you, right? Would have had even less probably, no?
Yeah, well, yeah, probably less. My dad had running water when he was growing up, so.
That's true, but they had the farm at the time, right?
Yeah, the farm but they had less. Not much less than me. I would say we were pretty well stuck in.
You were stuck in there that time.
That generation, we were pretty well there. Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, but there was a lot of alcoholics. I remember there was a guy down the road who used to deliver apples for us. What was his name? I said Uncle Archie. I called him Uncle Archie. He was the apple delivery guy, right?
Yeah.
Give him a couple $, he'd take your apples into Sobeys or whatever. Anyways, so every day that man drank a pint of rum. Black Cap Morgan on the way home from Windsor to Falmouth, which is like, I don't know, 20 minutes at best.
Did he fire the whole thing back?
Yeah, he drank the whole thing before he made it home.
Man, he'd be twisted by the time he got back.
So, and then he would start drinking some more Cap Morgan. Uncle Archie, yeah. Uncle Archie, he would drink, had a 40 ounce of Captain Morgan. Actually had a dog named Captain Morgan. That's his dog's name.
That's how much he loved the liquor.
Oh, he did like Captain. That was his favorite. So, I remember one time I was down at Uncle Archie's place having a drink, and he says, "Mark, I'll give you $10 if you climb that tree." So I said, "Well, this is easy money then.
Yeah,
I'll just climb that tree." So I did. I climbed the tree, and then he sicked his dog on me. Captain, bite that.
Just for entertainment.
And it was a 3-legged dog.
Oh yeah. Why did he do that? Because it was funny.
Yeah, because he found it funny. So the dog was able to climb that tree. He had me right out on a limb.
Jesus Christ.
Biting
That's
at
not
me,
the first time Uncle Archie's done that to
Uncle
a kid.
No.
I know. I can tell.
Uncle
The dog's been up that tree before.
Oh, he's got him trained, right?
Did you get the $10?
No, I never got the $10. So I said, Uncle Archie, get the dog off me, get Captain off me. So the dog came down, and so I'm swinging on the branch to climb down, swinging, and they're just going to jump.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Archie sicked Captain Morgan on me again. His dog bit into my leg, ripped my new corduroys. Like, I had a corduroys I just got for school.
Yep.
And then I said, "Well, you owe me a new pair of corduroys."
No, you're not getting those.
I wasn't getting corduroys. So I ran out of gas one time. I stopped at Uncle Archie's. I said, he was outside in his tent drinking Captain Morgan, and he was drunk. I said, do you have some gas? And I had gas. Yeah, I get some mixed gas. But just a minute. So I'm standing in front of him, and I go, "A minute, what are you talking about, man?" So then I look down. I've heard something. I looked down, and he was pissing himself. Yeah. He thought he had everything, all his gear out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
He was just wasted.
He was that wasted. He thought he had
Jesus Christ.
His gear out, and then his whole leg was full of piss.
Did you get the gas?
Yeah, I got my gas. All the shenanigans of the people I met in my lifetime, it's like I could go on and on and on for.
Oh yeah, endless stories.
It just goes on. Lifetime of different things, right? But
damn.
Yeah, it's been. I miss old Uncle Archie. He'd tell the same stories over and over again.
Yeah, I bet.
Because Nova Scotians are known for their storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Well, Newfoundlanders are too.
Yeah.
Maritimes as a whole.
Yeah.
Are storytellers, right? It's in their blood to.
You got a lot of personalities, right? A lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of different.
There
is. There's a lot, and the thing is, with some people that never got past their grade 6 or 7 education, like my grandfather got his grade 3.
Yeah,
that's as far as he went.
That's all he needed.
He went on to own 2 houses and his own plumbing business.
Yeah,
and a sheet metal guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he did everything, but he struggled to do his name, to write his name down, because I guess by grade 3 you learn how to write your name.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you
do.
do.
For sure. You would know how to spell. At least
should be able to spell some words by the time you're grade 3. But he got into a fight with his teacher, And he said, piss on this. That's
I'm
it.
out. I'm gone.
I'm out of here.
Never see him again.
Never. Just quit and get into the trade, right?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a better time.
No, that's the perfect time to get in the trade.
Yeah, he's only 9.
9 years old. You get all those years. You're a journeyman. By the time you're 15, you're a journeyman, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
He didn't actually get his papers till he retired because they didn't have like real apprenticeships like those days.
But you didn't really need it, right? People just
No,
tell
you
you, can you plumb?
Yeah, if you worked for a company for years, that's what you did.
Yeah.
Right? You're a plumber or you're electricians, but
Yeah.
it's good they do have certification because at least you can prove, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I went to school, I learned something, right? But yeah, old Wilfred Hines, he didn't like kids, that guy. He didn't like kids. We used to spend time over there when we used to fight, so it drove my mother crazy.
Yeah.
So she's drop us off
Got him to take it for
Wilfred place, and he didn't like kids.
Wouldn't give you the time of day.
No, I remember we used to go to he had a chair he sat in. We used to go right for that because he had wool pants, and the change used to roll in his pockets and hit the liner of that chair.
And you guys collect the change up?
Oh, it was like a fight to get there, right?
Yeah.
There's change in that bottom of that chair, that liner, right?
As soon as he gets up, you guys run for the chair?
Oh, Christ, yeah. I remember he's kind of a racial type of person, too.
Yeah.
And we had at that time, my mom had a black girl living with us because they were foster parents, and he didn't like that too much.
No
that
way.
We had a black person live with us.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. And he was a plumber, and we didn't have running water. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, he could have pulled it off. He could have got you guys running water.
Christ, he would have been a big help.
Yeah.
You know what he did do for us? He made us a tin tub. So so you heat all your water.
Yeah.
And you take your baths in this tin tub, right?
Damn. That's so inconvenient. You wouldn't have that many baths, right?
Once a week.
Yeah.
It's just like cattle, right?
Yeah.
Everybody took a bath in the same water.
The last guy in's not getting clean at all.
No, but the last guy had lots of water, but it was dirty.
Yeah, it's already dirty. I wouldn't want to be the last guy.
Well, dear kid, you know what? You had your options. You had a little boat or something you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. You could stay longer inside it in the tub, right, if you're the last one.
I know you had a rubber ducky you wanted to play with. Because the first guy who gets in, the water's not even covering yet.
Why, are they adding water as they go?
Yeah, you keep adding water to it.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes it all depends on what you want to do that night, right?
Yeah.
Did I want to just get in there and get cleaned up? Or do I want to bring in my little boats and my rubber duckies or whatever?
Yeah, maybe I'd want to be the second guy in. You get a little more water, but it's still pretty clean. Maybe the first guy's the dirtiest guy. And
we're all pretty dirty because...
Well, yeah, you go a week without baths, too.
Oh,
right?
you go a whole week.
You're out and about in the
you're tearing
bush
around.
And whatever else.
I know, you're just filthy, right? Unless you're swimming that day, right? In summertime, you hardly have the bath.
No, yeah, you just hit
because you get the lakes, right, or
creek
ponds
or
or whatever, creeks.
Yeah.
You never... Because there's a lot of work involved. You heat all the water on a wood stove, haul the water, heat it, pour it in, and get rid of the water.
Yeah.
Because you get the tub's like a big tub.
Yeah, the tub's inside, obviously.
Yeah.
It's indoors. I would hope.
I'm not sure where my mother put that tub because we had it right in the kitchen.
Oh, she was just moving in and out when the bath week came. Yeah.
You had it right in your
Get
bath.
the tub.
Okay, kids, it's bath night. Haul out this big tub from wherever. And right in the kitchen, that's where you scrubbed up.
But you guys had some kind of manual well or something?
There was a community tap.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Everybody in the community used the same tap.
Yeah.
I remember one time because when I was younger, I think it was the outhouse that scared me because I seen a rat one time in there.
Yeah, that would do it.
Anyways, so I was always shitting my pants. I always shit my pants when I was young, really young.
Oh, you didn't want to go out to the outhouse?
I guess not because Mom used to take me down to the community tap and clean me up there.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. So this is where everybody's getting their drinking water and then there's feces all over.
Yeah. That's insane. It is like living in Africa or something.
Feces all over the place, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyways, after a while, I got to the point that I was okay with it.
Yeah, you figured it out. Like, I can't do this every day. Every time.
I can't be down that community tap all the time, right?
Yeah, we're soaking, rinsing you out, right? Clean them up.
Yeah, it's clean up time. Oh, yeah, Mark shit his pants again.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, my God. Damn. Just a little bit of insight into that world, though. And telling you, people, like, I don't think a lot of people kind of Like growing up in Canada, you just don't think people ever live like that in the last 40 years.
No, because I tell stories. I've been telling stories all my life about my life, and because I know them so well, I could see someone years later, and say, and they would know the story as well as I do.
Yeah.
Right, because then they say, "Well, you're full of shit, Mark. You're lying." I go, "No, I ain't."
Yeah.
And I can tell you the same story 10 years from now will be exactly the same.
Yeah, the details are all the same.
Yeah, because the details are embedded in my brain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the joy of living in Nova Scotia, and it is now. But I was lucky. I was just one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, you made it out. And I that's another thing I say all the time is like people are complaining, and people that grow up like we grew up, we went to school and we had all the opportunities in the world, and then they're just bumming around. And like at 15 years old, you were heading across the country trying to make it. Yep. And people don't even want to go down the street to work now.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's no excuses for anybody, I don't think, anyways.
Well, you learned at an early age that if you want to succeed, you can't just wait for opportunity.
Yeah.
You have to make your own opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you come from nothing, then if you want to be successful, you have to put a lot of effort into it, right?
Yeah.
So I never wanted to not be successful, so I put everything I have into it.
Yeah.
And still do today.
For sure.
Right?
Well, yeah, the struggle kind of builds you, right?
Yeah, because I know what it's like to be poor, and I didn't want that for my family. So to avoid that, you just work hard.
Yeah.
And you get educated. Like I got a welder and a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and did work as a millwright and electrical stuff.
Ironwork.
Yeah, ironworker and whatever job that it had to do.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do. But
yeah.
That's what I think. I think today, instead of having kids volunteer to do stuff at stores and that, ship them out to a farm, man.
Yeah. The thing is, like, nobody's parents would approve of it, right?
I know.
Although it would be good for them.
No, it should be mandatory. You have to spend a whole summer on a farm running equipment, shoveling cow shit, or whatever, feeding chickens or whatever you have to do, right? Whatever that farm does, picking weeds. Like I spent weeks picking rocks off pastures. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
And the kids that you can tell there's like two type of kids I work with. Kids that grew up in the country that they did do that. Like not to the extent you were. Obviously they had a little bit easier.
Yeah, things are a little easier now.
But they're out working from dawn to dusk type of thing. And then I got the kids that, people that I went to high school with that grew up in the a subdivision somewhere, and when they come together to work, you can tell the difference between the kids that grew up in the subdivision that want to be plumbers.
Yeah, the work ethics is like night and day.
It's different.
You don't have an option. You don't have that option to just kind of hang out. Oh, Mom, I'm just gonna play video games today. Yeah. Hell, you aren't. You got goddamn. You got stuff you got to do, man. Yeah. I remember one time because I hated at the end of the school year, the slab truck would come every year, and slabs are like when they make lumber, they cut the bark off, and that's slabs. So we used to make slab wood with our hardwood because it burnt better. Anyway, so every year, kids would get their bicycles and their baseball or mitts or whatever for graduating school. Yep. And we would see that slab truck pull in, and like, oh my God, last day of school, we're piling wood now. Yeah. First friggin' day off of school. Yeah. So we said, you know what? We got pissed one time. Said, you know what? Screw that. We spent a whole day, three of us, piling wood right in the path to the barn for my dad's path. Oh, yeah. So well, we'll fix him. So that's what we did. Yeah. 3 layers in, a whole day of hard work. He had pig stuff for the pig feed in buckets. He walked through that pile like it wasn't even there. Oh, yeah, I didn't give a shit. He's like, I'm not letting these kids get the best of me. No, so we learned that day. That was a whole day. Yeah, he just blew it, just burned it. We burned a whole day. The next time we piled wood, we piled it where it's supposed to be, not. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, just walked through a day. Oh, no, he was like, screw you guys. That could stop me, right? But, yeah, that's pretty well. It's pretty well. Well, I do have more stories, but we'll get you on for a part 2. Maybe Dan we'll do another part because, I don't want to use up all my stories in one shot session, right? But I could go on and on and on about different stories that I. Yeah. But I don't know. Your audience might get kind of bored anyway.
No,
you don't want to lose them.
This is just already the longest episode we've ever had.
You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose the interest. I don't want to bore anybody with any.
No, we'll have to get part 2 and get Dan on with us.
Yeah, get Dan along.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure he's got a few skeletons in his closets, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd hope so because, I mean, not bad skeletons, but stories that people should hear, and you know what I mean, his life and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Dan had a period in his life. He had an interesting life.
Oh, He's
got some good stories in him.
For sure,
right?
for sure.
He'd be a good guest, but we don't use them all up in one shot.
No, exactly. So we'll do a little outro here, and then that's the episode. So, I don't know. Did I plug the sponsor ahead of time?
You didn't do the sponsor.
I didn't get it all the way. I kind of got it halfway.
I know,
out.
You should actually, because it's quite important.
I already blew
that
it.
The sponsors are made known because they're the ones that are actually paying for all this time.
That's why
and
we're
the
here.
Equipment and whatnot. Without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to tell these stories.
I know. The thing
So
is
they're
that
important.
at the end, most people don't make it this far in the episode, so the sponsor is just not gonna go unheard.
Well, we hope that we entertain. We hope this episode entertained some people and kind of brought everything to light to what growing up in Nova Scotia in the 80s and 70s were like.
Yeah.
Or I guess even 60s.
The 60s, 80s.
Yeah, 60s to 80s type of. And I'm not the only one that has the stories like this. Everybody I grew up with have similar stories
Absolutely.
to mine, right?
Yep.
But I'm the only one in that group, the people I grew up with, have a memory of all the stories. Because I'm the one that has to remind them or tell stories of them. Oh, Mark, because I just have one of those minds that trap those type of situations. But I'm the one that in like the archives for them to remind them what we went through.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, right. So.
Well, now we got at least an hour of it on recording.
Yeah, I think I say hopefully there were just people there who found this amusing and helped them understand more of what was going on then.
For sure.
It's all good things. It wasn't anything bad.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I had a great childhood. I would never say I didn't.
Yeah.
Right? For sure. But
well, I hope you guys found this episode enjoyable, different than what we normally do. We'll have to have him back on again. For now, go ahead and check out our sponsor, www.brokenglasssupply.ca. Go buy some stuff, free shipping over $50. Until next time, I'm Davey on everything.
And Mark, the guest.
This is our guest, Mark, my dad. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yeah, have a nice evening.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Big G's, no design on my jacket. Work hard, now I'm changing my bracket. Talk tough, we ain't hear that racket. Dogs came in, you know how to stack it. Don't take it wrong, but I'ma need my ends though. I got tigers on my chest like Kenzo. Rail came, yeah, he putting that Benz though. Carol's here, man, you know you stay 10 toes. Big dog, man, you know I ain't worried. Bent up, so I'm talking real slurry. Got a blast, bro, I'm always in a hurry. Big Drake, shooting dirty like Curry. Take a yerky, ain't know you stay passed up. You don't catch him late night, do you ass out? No, real, how to put the E-class up. They like, X nigga, how you take the fast ride? 2018, it was me and Big